You will pay the price. Russia issues a fresh warning to the UK over Ukraine-linked attacks. Ukraine throws Britain under the bus. Russia's retaliation clock now appears to be ticking. UK gets dragged deeper into Putin's war as Russia warns it could respond with missiles. British drones reportedly used inside Russia. Putin's government threatens serious consequences. By naming British drones, has Kiev handed Russia a potential justification for retaliation? Russia has accused the UK of escalating the Ukraine war after British-made drones were reportedly used in attacks inside Russian territory. The Russian embassy in London said Britain was increasingly becoming an accomplice in attacks on Russian territory, pointing to its growing military support for Kiev. Moscow warned that Britain would face consequences, saying the price for London would continue to rise as UK involvement in the conflict deepens. Statement by Russian embassy to the UK read, and I quote, "In doing so, the United Kingdom is acting as an accomplice and co-perpetrator of the bloody crimes and terrorist attacks. London's actions will inevitably carry consequences for which it will have to answer. The deeper its involvement in the conflict, the higher the price it will pay." Unquote. London rejected the Russian warning and said Britain would continue standing shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine despite Moscow's threats. The British Defence Ministry said it remains committed to providing Ukraine with military equipment, including systems designed to strengthen Kiev's ability to strike Russian targets. Britain has already announced plans to supply tens of thousands of drones to Ukraine, including long-range systems capable of reaching targets deep behind Russian lines. The drones were built by two British companies and have reportedly been used in attacks against industrial targets located inside Russian territory. A military source confirmed to BBC News that UK-made drones had been used in some of the attacks, potentially deepening the dispute between Moscow and London. Ukraine also targeted Wildberries logistics facilities, with reports indicating that 7 of the company's 10 centers have been disabled in the ongoing strikes. Ukraine has been deploying British-made drones in sustained long-range strike operations deep inside Russian territory for the past 6 months, according to multiple defense and media reports. British drones have now been confirmed in Ukrainian attacks far beyond the front lines, with the Sunday Times reporting their repeated use in high-value missions targeting critical Russian infrastructure. Among the systems employed is the BAE Systems Nayan, a jet-powered attack drone capable of high-speed precision strikes against hardened targets deep within enemy territory. Before finding its way into Ukrainian hands, the Nayan drone underwent extensive trials with the British Royal Navy, where it was evaluated for maritime and land attack roles. In addition to the Nayan, at least one other British-made drone has been used in these operations, though the identity of its manufacturer remains classified and undisclosed to the public. Despite the growing presence of UK-supplied systems, the majority of Ukraine's deep strike campaigns continue to rely on domestically produced drones developed by its own defense industry. A senior Ukrainian military source has stated that British drones have achieved significant operational success, particularly in evading Russian air defenses and striking high-priority targets. These British-made systems have been used to hit oil refineries in the Moscow region as well as facilities in Yaroslavl, hundreds of miles from the Ukrainian border. Further strikes have also targeted an oil refinery in Volgograd, demonstrating the extended range and strategic reach now possible with Western-supplied drone technology. The reported use of British drones in these deep penetration missions marks a major shift in their role, transforming them from support assets into central instruments of Ukraine's long-range war strategy. On August 16, Ukraine unleashed one of the largest aerial assaults of the war, launching more than 800 drones across multiple Russian regions in a coordinated high-intensity strike operation. Russian authorities claimed their air defenses successfully intercepted and destroyed a total of 822 Ukrainian drones during the massive overnight barrage that stretched across several time zones. According to Moscow, approximately 600 of the drones launched by Ukraine were directed toward the capital region, overwhelming air defense systems around Moscow in an unprecedented saturation attack. The widespread drone offensive reportedly resulted in at least 6 fatalities across Russian territory, marking one of the deadliest single-day tolls from Ukrainian aerial strikes during the conflict. While Russian officials have provided figures on intercepted drones, Moscow has not independently confirmed the total number of unmanned aerial vehicles Ukraine deployed in the large-scale assault. In Podolsk, an 83-year-old man was killed when a Wildberries logistics warehouse was struck by drone debris, highlighting the civilian impact of the expanding aerial campaign. Several additional people were injured in the Moscow region following reported drone impacts, with emergency services responding to multiple crash sites and fire incidents throughout the night. Ukraine's massive drone barrage targeted not only Moscow but also struck facilities and infrastructure in several other Russian regions during the coordinated overnight operation. The Russian Defense Ministry stated that hundreds of drones were shot down or otherwise neutralized during the attack, though independent verification of interception rates remains unavailable. At least 3 people were injured in separate missile and drone attacks on Kyiv, as Russia launched retaliatory strikes even while facing the massive Ukrainian drone offensive. Kyiv itself came under fresh aerial attack as the city endured incoming missiles and drones at the same time Ukraine was executing its largest drone barrage of the war. This latest assault ranks among the biggest drone attacks launched by Kyiv since the invasion began, signaling a major escalation in Ukraine's long-range strike capabilities and operational tempo. The US has moved to authorize Turkey's transfer of US-made weapons and missiles to Ukraine, according to RT. The proposed package reportedly includes 70 ATACMS missiles and 12 M270 rocket launchers for Ukraine. Turkey's stocks also reportedly include more than 2,500 M26 rockets equipped with cluster warheads. The package includes 47,000 cluster artillery shells and is valued at around $280 million, according to reports. The US State Department submitted the proposed weapons transfer to Congress on August 6 for approval. However, Russia has warned that the transfer could damage Moscow's relations with both Washington and Ankara. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the proposed deal would further undermine mutual trust between the countries, RT reported. Maria Zakharova questioned why the US and Turkey were opening what she called another Pandora's box. Maria Zakharova said, and I quote, "Attempts to use peacemaking rhetoric while simultaneously supplying weapons to Ukrainian Nazis inevitably undermine mutual trust. The issue is not only the casualties and destruction that the authorities in Kiev seek to increase, but also the serious damage to our bilateral relations with Washington and Ankara." Unquote. Russia also questioned how and when the American-made weapons would ultimately reach Ukraine if the proposed transfer receives approval. Moscow had previously warned that Western long-range weapons were deepening NATO's role in the Ukraine war and increasing escalation risks. The European Union is set to provide Ukraine with €1.5 billion in 2026 to procure medium and long-range missiles for its armed forces. The funding will come through the European Union's defense loan program, designed to strengthen Ukraine's military capabilities during the ongoing war. The new missiles are expected to support Ukraine's ability to carry out long-range strikes against Russian military infrastructure and strategic targets. The weapons are reportedly set to be produced through a joint venture between Ukraine and an unnamed European Union member state. Officials have not yet disclosed whether the missiles being developed will be cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, or a combination of both. Ukraine could receive as much as €40 billion from the European Union's €90 billion defense loan program by the end of 2026 if approved.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.